Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to episode 91 of Frost and Fire. So, last episode, we managed to clear out a considerable amount of the map here. At a little bit of an expense. There was a mech cluster here, of course, that sappers came in to try to deal with, and well, we dealt with the sappers. We're now left with a big old cleanup that I've been micromanaging. We have mechanoids that need shredding. We have reapers that need butchering. One of the things that I've been considering is modifying the mod to change some of the butchering penalties. As you can see, there is the concept here of butchering human likes. Actually, well, Raptor himself doesn't really care because he is bloodlust, but others do, right? So if you take a look at Hippie's relationship with Raptor, there is a penalty to butchered human-like corpse because technically speaking, the Reapers are human-likes in sort of robot form, which means that there are, another masterwork. There is penalties for seeing them, right? So it might be in my best interest to modify that, but I'm not really sure. I think what I'm going to end up doing is polling you all about this, about whether or not you want me to remove that. The way I would probably remove it is removing the penalties altogether for butchering human likes. That's the easiest way, and that's the way I would know how to do. We're heading towards the spring, and depending on how warm it gets, we might be able to call in a caravan for the first time ever from the United Cities, now that we're allies. I've been trying to keep my alliance up with the Machinist and Rebel Farmers. Of course, there is Machinist and Rebel Farmer colonies close to Landfall, which is the name of the settlement here. I forgot to generate the planet ahead of time. So I can always send gifts to Rebel Farmers or Machinists, but the United cities are too far away. And that was actually by design, to make it a little bit more difficult. Are you ever going to wake up, Raptor? Oh yeah, you're about to. Wow, my rice overflow is overflowing. Let's go ahead and crank out some additional chem fuel from organics. And Gabe's on a shoot frenzy. That's real good. I'm also curious if this raid source is going to threaten me ever. One of the things I might be able to do is in about 13 days, pod there and use the transport shuttle to come home, looting the raid target of its of its everything. Travis reminded me that it might be a good idea to add heaters back into this area because during the winter it's often too cold, especially if we have our cataphract helmets on. It's often too cold to functionally defend. So that's something I want to do. And let's go have... Oh, interesting. This was not set up. Okay, here we go. Let's butcher some of these. Another thing that I noted in the comments was the instance of surgery and taming. Surgery and inspirations. They're sort of absurd. So the requirements for most of the inspirations is to have at least level 3 of stuff, which means that if you take a look at like Bash, for instance, Bashes, or let's try to find someone better example here. Wow, everybody has animals at least 3. Oh no, here we go. So Phoenix, for instance, could not get a animal or surgery inspiration because it does require you to have a minimum of 3 skill, leaving Phoenix to get an inspiration in something else. So Phoenix might be a good target for inspirations, considering he does have a little bit of crafting skill and construction skill, just to game the system. So if you do have, you know, a Psycaster that has words of inspiration, you might want to analyze your own population to see where the most bang for your buck can be had, because the game is a little weird where surgery inspirations are far more common than I feel that it has any right to be. But, you know, who knows? So we are now cranking through the rice in order to get more chem fuel. And one of the advantages of the additional chem fuel is to make more shells. So I probably want to stockpile a bunch of explosive shells so that during the in-game raids I have a lot of backup explosions. Another thing I want to do here is anytime that there's downtime, I got to get in the habit of loading turrets, or mortars rather, and getting them ready to fire. So that if I need to fire my mortars in a hurry, they're already loaded and ready to go. And they are now, of course. So I did mention that I wanted to rework this area here in order to better defend against zappers, and all the deadfall traps are now rebuilt. I also want to put turrets sort of back here to lure and to juggle brawlers, and that's something that I'll probably work on soon. I do want to try to clean up the map tile of all the corpses as much as I can for resource benefit. Larry, how are you doing? You're okay. Yep. All right. Raptor is going to butcher some remaining Reapers, and then I have to sort of decide what I want to do with... Oh, no, Butcher here. Wow, why would you do that? Then I want to decide what to do with Virgil, because it's not clear that I'm going to bury him. So I think all of the Reaper corpses are now butchered. And what I'm going to do is open up the slag zone again. In fact, I'm going to add to it so that my pets that can handle the temperature can go out there and do what they need to do. Hippie, what are you working on? I would prefer Hippie to, yeah, make sculptures for trade. Just mass making sculptures. So let's try a word of inspiration on Phoenix. We sort of decided that Phoenix, given his skill set, would actually be a really good target. So here we go. Hey, go Frenzy. There we go. And he's a really good target because, of course, he cannot be inspired for surgery or taming or any garbage like that. So it's an interesting gaming of the game mechanics. So doing the ever important repairing of the turrets. Now, another thing that I'm a little worried about is the amount of plasteel I have will not really allow for a significant amount of additional turrets to be built. So I probably need to find myself a plasteel source before I go and add turrets to my defenses. Oh, I also should get rid of this door there. That's going to be mightily important so that I have a valid path again. This monument here needs to be... Oh, you know what? I think it's done. The quests for this are done. Awesome. break it down, reclaim its material, and let's open the doors north and south so that enemies coming in around here, if they pod in or whatever, they can path without burning my walls down. The moods of the colony are pretty funny. You've got almost everyone that is like completely and totally ecstatic, and then you have like JD that's kind of like meh, even though JD is iron-willed. He's like, it's fine. Everybody else is completely thrilled. I find the sort of comparison strange. There we go. We've got new batches of beer because we're down to, whoa, 13. I didn't realize it was that low. I know I planted hops because we were low, but I didn't realize how low we were. I think what I'll do here is all these crops, now that we have a ridiculous amount of rice, we'll switch these over to cotton. Because I do want to increase the amount of clothing and stuff that I can sell. I know we have a ridiculous amount of corsets, and we're getting a pretty healthy amount of jade sculptures as well, but the more the merrier, I suppose. These old plans can be removed. There's no longer a mech cluster. So there's 66 plasteel out here. That will bring me up to the mid 500 range. It's a lot, but then when you consider if I'm going to be making... yeah, let's make some plasteel turrets. Okay, I think the easiest way to do it is to build them here. So I'll build 6 of them now. I'm just placing the construction zones kind of where the steel and plasteel is, and they'll have to run for components. Another thing I ought to do is to turn on the machining table. Oh, looks like these deep drills are tapped. I'm going to uninstall the drills because I don't want them in a vulnerable spot. Well. I'll actually scratch that. I'll put them back here where there's some steel, just because the steel's so close to the base. I don't need gold super badly, but I'm gonna get a few pieces of this gold mined up. I don't want to mine it all because it's far more than I require. Another thing that might benefit me here is to move a unstable power cell out to where the mech cluster went boom, and then a machining table so that I can process the mechanoids a little more quickly. So Leth and Gabe will get those moved. I'm going to have Raptor sit on the throne, regaining a psi focus from the last words of inspiration. So if a raid's coming, I have the psi focus I need. And now JD is making shells. Let's go ahead with this temp steel critical and the temp chem fuel critical so that we can crank shells out a little bit more quickly. This was something that we've done in the past. Now the shell build that I have here is going to be easy to fulfill, but I think what I'm going to do is actually increase it beyond what I have made in the past. Up from 30 to at least 50. But I'm going to wait a second because I want... In fact, I'm going to micromanage JD. I want JD to come out here. Instead of hauling these mechs long, I will... just process them in place. I'm gonna center this a little bit better. And there we go. It's 2 p.m., so there's plenty of working daylight left. Now, Raptor, I haven't really decided what I'm doing with that corpse. So that's gonna have to be, I don't know, maybe just grenade with, you know, for cremation or something. You know, use the Molotov cocktail. That seems fine. So the reason why I'm not mining up all the gold, if you're curious, is all of the gold, if I mined it up all of a sudden, would raise my colony value maybe a little bit higher than I'd want. So I'm just mining up pretty much what I feel like I need for business as usual. You know, just running the colony. But no more than that. Alright, JD's getting a little hungry. Let's try to have him haul as much of this plasteel back as possible. And then I do have all these new mini turrets that I should turn off. So the idea that I had here is to embed the mini turrets, into defenses here. So some of the mini turrets I'd like to put sort of a line here, possibly. Another, you know, another wave of mini turrets, but also mini turrets back here, so that if Scythers or Reaper Brawlers come in, I can turn turrets on and off on both ends of the kill box, effectively juggling the enemies back and forth. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to rework the back of the kill box a little bit. So that's something I'm going to work on soon. Whoa, you are still out here. Why aren't you eating? Oh, there we go. Well, there's only a few Scythers left, so just finish up. One more. Oh, material. Okay. That's some good shredding. Let's bring this machining table back. This machining table was the one dedicated for mech shredding. We have 2 machining tables, of course. And then the unstable power cell. So these turrets here are... I'm just going to uninstall them. They're effectively just backups. And then with all of our new slag... Oh, no, actually, we don't have a lot of slag down there. Thought we'd have more. So Larry's only here for 5 more days. Then we can ditch Larry and give a bedroom back, I suppose. That'll be nice. Storeback and Phoenix sharing a bunk. They're probably not thrilled about that. Alright, Miss Calc, I'm going to have you clean as a priority because the base is getting a little filthy with everybody so busy. Especially Larry pacing around his little bedroom. Definitely causing a lot of filth. So Calc's temperature, she's good to negative 37. So that means, of course, that I can't necessarily have her outside for very long, but I think at this point, it's safe to say that if she stays and stay fortified, she won't die from hypothermia. But let's clean up the stay fortified zone because there's a lot of incorrect painting of this zone. Because we were using it as like a stay clear of the mech cluster. So I think that's the updated area, which is fine. All right. base is clean, so I'm going to put her on hauling now. Another thing I'm going to need to do pretty soon, especially given that it is warming up, is to create a batch of nutrient paste meals. And if you can see here, I have really whittled down my rice stocks. It's pretty easy to burn through all the rice stocks. So I'm going to stop making chem fuel from organics. In fact, I might even suspend it temporarily. And let's say next person that goes for a meal, it's going to be Hippie. Ooh, a Masterwork Flak Vest. Sorry, Hippie. You are going to be our NPMer today. Oh, messing up my technique here. Trying to rush it. Unfortunately, we use hoppers top down, so the foul meat is like the last to be used, but it's fine. I was gonna want a batch anyway. Hauling rice to hopper. That's not hauling rice to hopper. Oh, that's because it's queued. All right, this is good enough. And put you back on simple meals. Making some backup flak vests. So if we're making backup flak vests, that's an indicator that, yes, and this is correct, that we got through a large amount of our shell backlog. So here are all the extra shells, and I'm going to want more shells than that. I'm not satisfied with just 32. I'll kick that number up in a minute. Sorry, JD. I know you deserve a walk, given your recreation, but I'd like to turn off this machining table, and now I can't. So I'm also having JD make a spare shield belt. You know what? I had a spare, but hopefully it's a higher quality one. I wouldn't mind starting to sell my lower quality stuff, the good and under. Hey, we have a combat supplier. I was wondering if I was going to get a means to sell some stuff. Unfortunately, a combat supplier is not going to really be interested in the mass amounts of clothing that I have, but they'll buy something. So as far as numbers goes, no one has a trade price improvement inspiration or trade inspiration. So Raptor, you're the man for this job. And they have a Doomsday launcher, so I'm going to want to sell stuff to be able to afford that. The Prestige Recon armor that Raptor was wearing is worn down. Going to sell that. And then this flak vest is a little damaged. Another thing I might do is uninstall the Leviathan. The leftover Leviathan material I'm going to sell only because with only 10 of it left, there's really no way to make stuff out of it. And then, unfortunately for Calc, let's leave one of these statues in. I'm going to want to uninstall some statues to trade. Trying to get as much silver as possible. But the Doomsday Launcher is a very happy thing to have. We have 3 now, and stockpiling them up for endgame raids definitely going to be a thing I'm going to want to do. So we're going to have to load that into the backup pod. All right, that is just about all the silver that the trader has. So I'm not that worried about getting rid of these statues until there's another reason to. But that's some good trading. Then let's go ahead and cancel the load here and put all 3 Doomsday launchers in here. It's very easy to forget that I have Doomsday launchers. And there we go. And a little reminder that I put them in the pods like that so that they cannot be stolen or targeted by tantrums or anything of that nature. So, the Prestige Recon Armor that we used up. Let's get it again. Let's make some more. And that's some of the reason why I bind up some more gold. So, an excellent shield belt. That's great. Good flak vest. Could have want better, but that's fine. Let's change the quality here from just good to legendary, as I'm just about out of cotton anyway. It's kind of moot. There we go. There's, oh, 2 good ones. JD, what is happening here? And here is the Prestige Recon Armor. Let's go and mine up a little bit more gold. Just because we're not always certain that we can access these nodes out here. But another thing I definitely want to mine out now that it is getting a little warmer is all of the uranium that I have around the map. Because there is... Oh, is this a butcher table? Oh, dear lord. Why did I put that there? That belongs here. I was like, where's my smelter? Swap the spots. Because I completely am happy with having oodles and oodles of extra uranium so that we can reload the slug turrets. I think, in fact, I'm going to keep extra uranium here. So the shelf here is preferred. This could be preferred as well. I guess it's fine. Raw uranium. And that way we have 8 more stacks close to the slug turrets. Because that's, I guess, my concern. My concern would be that we rely heavily on these slug turrets for defense during reactor raids, and we run out of uranium, and as a result of running out of uranium, we sort of don't have a way to effectively defend ourselves. Hey, Raptor, or, yeah, Raptor, you're standing right here. Can we call in a trade caravan? Yes, we can. Cool. All right, a trade caravan will arrive in a few days. Just because I see the ambient temperature is negative 42°C, we're just inside the temperature range that will allow for it. And another thing I'm going to risk is a throne speech. Okay. Get that going. So who is not currently in attendance? Oh, even Calc's going. Gabe is coming. Is this everybody? It is. All right, cross your fingers. What is the stats here? Again, it really hasn't changed. 85% positive. Okay, I can live with that. And it's encouraging again. It's too bad that Larry can't benefit from that, right? I mean, I know he's a prisoner, but it'd be nice if I could give the prisoners some speeches. Being like, don't worry, I won't butcher you. Speaking of butchering prisoners, who'd you belong to? Machinists? I'm gonna see if I can't just send him home. So here's Virgil and his bolt-action rifle. Seems like the right thing to do. Hippie getting a shoot frenzy. Awesome. Where are you going with the medicine? Oh, no. That's not that kind of stockpile bash. I was like very confused and realized, yeah, it was the Virgil. So Raptor, I know that I don't have prestige recon armor for you right now, but at least I can get you out of that helmet. Okay. Virgil was... He was a machinist. So they don't care for the gift, but I'm going to send it to them anyway. I think it makes sense to bury people, you know, with their communities. So I'm happy to send him back. Seems like the right thing to do with him. All right, good. There's no damage. Well, no burning, I should say. There was damage. So Gabe and Leth, yep, you are doing exactly what I wanted you to do. Grabbing all of the uranium. Now, the wealth of that uranium will add is not insignificant, but the kicker here is, of course, during in-game raids, there's really no way that I'm going to be able to come all the way out here to mine this uranium. It's far outside of the radius of the base, and as a result, it's going to be a lot safer for me to mine the uranium now and keep it in my stocks. Raptor can now call in a aerodrone salvo. That's off cooldown. That's obviously a very powerful favor to call in. As long as you don't miss, like the last time I tried to land it. Wasn't my best work. Gabe, I don't believe that you need to sit on a throne. So when the Imperial Trader comes in, I'm going to have to very quickly trade because it hasn't got as warm as I thought it would. And as a result, this is going to cause my... this is going to cause the trade caravan to leave near immediate. I also just cleared forced because I think we can switch from toques to cataphract helmets for protection reasons, as it's not as cold as it once was. So there's the prestige recon armor. Raptor's gonna don that. It's only good quality. That's a bummer. Oh well. Can't win all the time. Oh boy. Well, at least the solar flare hit while it's cold out. Little worried about Calc. No, Calc can survive the ambient. It's more Larry. Well, Larry, you should be okay too. The eggs here are already ruined by temperature. That happened pretty much immediately. That's okay. I'd rather have a solar flare during the winter than the summer. That is for sure. During the summer, that means that all of my everything spoils. It's really annoying. And in fact, let's go ahead and... It's a little early to be doing this, but let's remove some chimneys. As it's not so super cold outside that this is a problem. Because Raptor, you're even good to negative 35C, and that's... Wow, no! I also did not... Yep, didn't think about the plants. Phoenix, they're all gonna die before I harvest them. Oh well. A huge waste, but that's just what Randy wants. I probably didn't need to rush harvest the heal root, as heal root doesn't really care if it's cold or not. They would still die due to the hydroponic basin not being powered, but usually the solar flares will end before the hydroponic basins kill the plants. Usually. Well, that was a bummer. I think this is Randy making up for that bummer, giving me some wake up. Okay. Okay, it's only negative 27C. I mean, it's cold, but it's like human survivably cold. Whereas sometimes it's so cold, it's just like, oh, nope, instant death. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move the smelter out here. Risking, of course, the health of the smelter and 2 of the unstable power cells. But there's a lot of slag, if you'd let me click it. There's a lot of slag in this area here. There's 42 of it. So we'll try to process that slag in a timely fashion. And then keep grabbing the uranium that I found, because this node of it is already dug up. And that's getting me about 1100 uranium. Another thing to note... Oh, guest. Another thing to note is that... the ship itself will require a bit of uranium, which means that it's going to be in my best interest to really stockpile it to kind of an absurd degree. But I think that's going to be ideal defense-wise. So we just need to move the smelter. Oh, but Storbeck's using it. There. Now it's off, so we won't use it automatically. Did you already mine up the... Yes, you did. I was like, why are they... I was curious why they were going for the deep drills. This can be turned off, as there's no longer material there. And let's see, there is steel nearby. I'm curious if there's jade. If there's... Oh, there is the uranium up here, that's right. I'm going to risk the deep drills here, the health of the deep drills, and yet another one of my unstable power cells, because it's very brief season where it's fair temperature, and I'm going to try to get as much of that uranium as possible. Oh, okay, speaking of which, we have the mech hive dropping in on us. Everybody, stay fortified. Animals inside. There is 19 mechs coming our way. Come on. Oh god, that is a lot of centipedes. Okay. All right. Oh man. All right, JD, Hippie, Gabe, Storbeck, they bashing everything? There's a... Ah, we never opened up the top door. Oh, no. I had set it to be forced open, but as a result, these mechs are going to just bash their way to me, attacking at random because they don't have a clear path to get to me until someone breaks a wall, which, there, now they go. All right, all of my snipers. Leth, you still haven't... You never changed weapons. All right, so Hippie, all of my snipers here are going to get set up to attack these centipedes when the lancers go away. God, look at all this pointless damage. All right, Leth, just waiting on you. And I foresee that this will be a cliffhanger. So here we go. We have our we have the fast movers separating out, and there we go. Now we have the mechs leaving. Now the other worry that I have is that the trade caravan that I had signaled, I'm a little worried that they're gonna get stomped. There's not a whole lot I could do about that, other than wait and see. Fortunately, it did not hit the geothermal generator, but I sure have a lot of broken wall segments, and that's my own fault for queuing the door to be propped open, but then not actually doing the propping. Didn't quite. Another thing I might be able to do is with Hippie, drop some berserks. It's going to be a little challenging because, of course, she doesn't have a shield belt, but I'm going to attempt it. And we're starting to get the first of these scythers into the base, so I'm going to turn on my autocannons, waiting for them. Alright, this was risky, but worth. Because now they're shooting each other. I can get in on the sniping. Hippie, actually, if you stay in position, for more berserks. Whoa, 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 whoa. Careful where you walk. All right, so her side focus is maxed out. I'm gonna have Raptor come out. It's weird. This centipede looks like it's tracking Hippie, but it obviously didn't have line of sight. And my autocannon turrets are now firing on the scythers. I don't really have a lot of worries there. Okay, so we'd have one centipede dead. It did also drop 26 components, which is kind of nice. Raptor's going to come up and try to help with the psycasting. It's definitely going to be safer having him psycast. And then Storbeck is also a psycaster, but only with Pain Block. Calc, what psycast do you have? Pain Block? Okay, never mind. That's not going to be helpful. Everybody else that's not currently fighting should stay inside, not fortified, because the kill box is not safe. And I'm trying to micromanage between all the fighting. Okay, let's pull the Lancers in a little closer, and Bash, you're going to be a human bait for this. There's one centipede down, or another centipede down, second centipede, I suppose. And let's get in position for centipede number 3, who's already about 2/3 or a third damaged. And unfortunately for you all, this is going to be the cliffhanger. Randy is cheeky and likes to attack me right at the end of the 45 minutes. So if you have any feedback for me, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so very much for watching. I'll catch you next episode. Farewell, everybody.